Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Everybody gonna learn. War's over, till then you're bound to burn. War's over, unless you're caught up in a lie, that same old lie. War's over, so hey, let's all get high. Thousands upon thousands am lie dead. These words just did not sink in their head. So many give, yet so many more them take. Until it's oven turn off, it's just a have to bake. War's over, when's everybody gonna learn? War's over, till then you're bound to burn. War's over, unless you're caught up in a lie. The drug war's over, so hey, let's get together and get high. So what about it, ain't you heard the story yet? You're going to help change it to rat to the debt. I'm way deep concerned now, it ain't no lie. We all come together soon or we all bound to die. War's over, don't you be acting dumb. War's over, cause there ain't nowhere to run. War's over, unless we're caught up in a lie, that same old dirty lie. War's over, so let's all party together and get high.
As you just heard, my name is Sid Maurer, and I am a former local news anchor from Eugene, Oregon. And it's still really new for me to be talking about this and standing on a stage talking about cannabis, something that I, of course, like many of you, have worked on hiding for many years before this. So what happened to me was I was forced to take a drug test and was fired due to inactive THC metabolites in my system. Most of you out there probably understand that when you consume cannabis, it interacts with your body differently than almost anything else, and traces of it, even when inactive, stay in your system for up to 30 days. So even though I was completely 100% sober at work, I was penalized and fired for personal cannabis use in my own time. What's more is my news director and assistant news director, my immediate bosses, fought for me to keep my job. So in case anyone out there was wondering if it was something else going on, it wasn't. I was told verbatim that it was my drug test that came back positive for THC metabolites that led to my firing. And instead of just being quiet about it and kind of pretending like that didn't happen, trying to maybe go back into the news or back into the corporate world, I was so frustrated that I had to speak out against it. It was completely legal for an out-of-state attorney, corporate attorney, to fire me, but it wasn't right. Legal, but not right, and that is why I'm speaking out against it. So a little more backstory on my situation. Like many news stations out there, my station was very, very comfortable with drug testing people. I am not exaggerating with saying that I had a coworker who tripped and was drug tested. I had a coworker who bumped her head and was drug tested. And for my situation, I was in rush hour traffic and I tapped the bumper of the car in front of me and was forced to take a drug test. So even though I left 2 scratches on a bumper in front of me, was completely sober, and that wouldn't have led to me getting fired. Because I used cannabis in my personal time, I was fired. And like I said, this is completely legal. And I truly believe that the only way that we're gonna see any change, any movement in these unfair policies is if we continue to educate and expose people to the truth about cannabis. If this policy was in place to keep people safer, it's failing. There's no reason to believe that someone who uses cannabis in their free time is at all unsafe or less safe than someone who, say, consumes alcohol in their free time. So let's take a minute to think about my situation. Had I used alcohol, or had I used even a harder substance like meth or cocaine days before my accident, I would still have my job. But because it was cannabis, and like I said, it stays in your system for longer, I lost my job. We need to explain to businesses that this is bad business practice. It's not keeping anyone safer, and it's actually sending a really negative message to employees, right? Top employers like Microsoft, for instance, they don't drug test because they respect their current or prospective employees. There are so many reasons that drug testing is wrong. Exactly. Policemen aren't drug tested. And in fact, the FBI, for instance, has stopped drug testing certain departments because they weren't getting the application turnout that they needed. It is known that using cannabis in your free time does not increase your risk as a worker. Therefore, this policy should not be in place. It'd be different, right, if it was a reactionary thing. If there was a time in history where we can point that cannabis was legal and a bunch of people were just coming to work stoned and causing, just terrible, dangerous accidents all the time. Guess what? That's never happened. That is not the news story. That I was in the news business for years, and never once was there some crazy incident about someone coming to work and causing accidents because they were stoned on cannabis. This policy was put in place because Ronald Reagan decided that he wanted to make a federal drug-free workplace policy, basically, and because of that, it spread, and we are where we are today. So, like I mentioned, I am speaking out to educate people and expose people. I truly believe some people really just don't understand cannabis, and that's why they're against it. So if there's anything that I could explain to you is talk about it. Come out of the cannabis closet. If you don't talk about your cannabis use, how is anyone supposed to understand that it doesn't make you a bad person? It doesn't make you more dangerous, more lazy, or any worse than someone who chooses to use alcohol or any other substance in their free time. So please keep talking about it. If you're looking to find out more about me, it's Sid Mauer. You can look at me on Twitter and Facebook, and I'm blogging for Marijuana Politics, which is a great website if you're looking to follow anything and everything on cannabis news. So thanks again for listening to me. Bye.
We've made a lot of progress since last year's hemp stock. You know, they didn't want us to have it again here today, but we're here, and we're going to comply with whatever rules they make us comply with. We're not going away. We're going to continue to push the envelope until we can grow hemp without regard to its THC content, but with regard to the most productive seed varieties, the varieties that make the most protein and oil, the varieties that make the most fiber. We shouldn't be judging seed and fiber production by THC content. I think that high THC cannabis makes 20 times more seeds than what I call dwarf hemp, the low, less than 0.3% hemp. And that makes twice as much fiber. So until we can restore hemp, the battle is not over, and we'll keep pushing this envelope. We should be able to have an adult smoking area right here in the park. Just like the alcohol events can have their alcohol area here in the park. Alcohol, as we know, is much more dangerous than marijuana. Marijuana will increase your lifespan for most people. You have less stress, lots of powerful antioxidants, you live longer. How can they say something so beneficial is bad? We have to educate them. They've been misinformed in this huge misinformation campaign we call Reefer Madness, after that crazy movie the federal government funded back in 1937. So we're here until we remove the stigma, the false stigma surrounding marijuana. And I want to thank you all for coming. Please go to our vendors, show them some love. If you see something you like, pick it up. You know, follow the rules, and we'll be back here for hemp stock again next year. I want to thank all you guys for coming again and help us restore hemp. Thanks again.
We've been on the front line for struggling for freedom of the plant and of the consumers of cannabis since maybe like 17 years now. And it was nothing there. We kind of built everything from zero with no money. This is actually what we did, and I want to just give a brief little update about what's really going on in South America. You know, in this cannabis thing, there's big contradictions worldwide. You know about that. There's also contradictions even here, where you guys are ending prohibition, right? Big contradiction that we can't even smoke in the park, even if it's legal, huh? That it's legal. So that's one. So let's go for South America. Like Chile this year, they authorized this growing for medical patients for 500 plants. This was made by a foundation called DAIA and the government of one of the counties of Santiago, Chile. And after that, they are continuing to discuss the commissions in Congress, the change of the law number 20,000, that's the name of the law. And they're changing it for authorizing 6 plants per resident and about half kilo of dry buds in each property. That's what they're discussing now, but it's not done yet. They're trying to finish it, but it's not done. This is in Chile. They have a great community, a great cannabis community in Chile. They make, like every year they make the Expo Weed, which is a 3-day event, and the last one they had around 70,000 personas attending for the 3-day event. They also have the Global Marijuana March, which is we have here on my right, Mr. Dana Beal, which is big responsible for that. We give an applause for him. Yeah. All these years of making the march so successfully. So this march in Santiago gathered around more than about 300,000 personas this year in May. And in Argentina, the same march gathered around 200,000. So huge, massive event of people that they absolutely feel better by consuming this herb, but there's not much culture about it. I mean, people want freedom, but they don't know the history. They don't know all the uses of hemp. So we're in the process of educating all these massive amounts of people that are waiting for the herb's freedom. But we're lack of culture yet. We have to go through a big process of education, and that's what we're doing.
That's great. Well, let me get to Gaston.
Just, I wanted to finish with this. That here in, you know, we've been here in America for a few weeks now, and we've been observing what's going on. And I want to salute, how do you say, congratulate all the hardworking activists that have made this ending of prohibition a reality. But the message is that we're not done yet. We have to keep on continuing with the rest of America to liberate the rest of America of free thoughts concerning the plant, because what you guys do here is very important for the rest of the world. Maybe you're not really conscious about that, but whatever happens here has a big impact worldwide. So I was here last year when you guys were with Prop 91, and you succeeded. So I want to congratulate all the hardworking activists and tell them that thank you for the hard work, but we're not done yet. We have to continue and spreading the word. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So we don't have, actually, there's no hemp in South America, only in Uruguay, a project of just a research project. We used to have hemp, but we don't have it anymore. And what I want to say about this new era that's coming, that I'm seeing here also in the United States, you know, part of the contradictions is we should take the human barriers that made these limits of THC in hemp, we should just move them away. That's part of the task that is already, we have to keep on doing that, because that those were part of a different time, a time of prohibition. Now it's a different time, and we should go forward in taking those artificial barriers and leave the plant grow as it is naturally, and take all the benefits of it.
Oh, that's well said.
Yeah, well, I've been representing the growers a lot, because we have a home grow movement. But you know, what I want to say is that that's not really important, because that's not safe access for all of us. We got to go forward in trying to find a different way of getting access besides the home grow. I think you guys are a big example for the rest of the world. I think many of us are going to be inspired by Oregon and by the United States in general, but Oregon, I think the Oregon law is really good, and you guys have been following the information, right? All the money has been...
That's right.
Bueno, yo hablo en español, así que me voy a transmitir en español y Mike me va a traducir. Bueno, el impacto es muy grande, si bien nos cuesta transmitir porque no hay medios estables canábicos en nuestra región, pero el impacto es muy grande. Ahora, lo que nosotros vemos es que las peores políticas se impactan en Latinoamérica. Nosotros ahora estamos viviendo, el próximo domingo vamos a tener una votación para presidente y la política es más represiva, va a ser más represiva.
Okay, concerning the media, the information gets over there, but we don't have these big medias that you have here, so we're kind of limited with that. What does spread in South America is the bad U.S. policies. That spreads rapidly. And for example, we're having elections this coming Sunday, the 25th. We're having presidential elections in Argentina. Go ahead.
Y bueno, se profundizará las políticas con más represión, como lo es en México. Está inclinándose hacia las policías locales, hacia militarizar las policías.
So this new candidate is going towards the bad direction. He's talking about going towards putting more municipality police and creating a special task force for struggling against the narco traffic. So restrictive policies, same of restrictive policies.
Nuestro país está en el extremo sur del continente americano.
Our country is in the extreme south of the American continent, right?
Es extremadamente grande, es muy grande.
It's very, very big.
Tenemos una población de 45 millones.
We have 45 million population.
El 8%, según datos de la ONU del 2011, son consumidores de cannabis.
8% of those 48 millions, according to the United Nations 2011, are 8% of cannabis consumers.
Entonces estas políticas directamente están yendo a perseguir ese 8%.
So these type of policies are directly going against this 8% of the population, this minority of society.
Lo que tenemos es una incipiente comunidad canábica que crece día a día.
We have a cannabis community that grows every day by day.
Y tenemos un gran futuro por delante y una gran responsabilidad en educarnos.
We have a great responsibility in educating ourselves, educate the rest of the people, and we have a great future to come.
Porque lamentablemente a nosotros nos imponen reglamentaciones del cual dejarían afuera a todos. Nosotros queremos que la planta sea libre, más allá de que sea legal, que sea libre.
We want the plant to be free. Besides that it has to be legal, we want it to be free. Free of restrictions.
No queremos reglamentaciones que dejan afuera al pueblo. Queremos que sea del pueblo.
We don't want restrictions that keep the people away. We want the people to be involved. Empower the people.
Es alimento y el alimento tiene que ser libre, con bajo costo y al alcance de todos.
It's food, and food has to be at low cost and for everybody.
Right on. Great stuff, guys. This is the Symposium. Thanks, Scott. Well, Mexico, from Monday, CBD is legal in Mexico. It's a big turnaround. We've had, some people call it a war. It's just been very crazy, the situation, what's going on. But thanks to all the movement that's happened, I guess, worldwide, the advancements in CBD, industrial hemp, Mexico now, as of Monday, will have legal CBD. That will probably put an end to this drug war that we've been seeing. Also, we're starting to work with hempcrete in Mexico. The advantage of this is building in Mexico is actually quite cheap. So even though now we have to import a material from Europe, the costs of this are dramatically low. We can provide houses for a lot of people. This is kind of our return to nature. Hemp can provide us a lot of solutions, and housing is one of our basic necessities. So going back to nature, not only hemp can provide us that, but there's other plants like bamboo, there's coconuts. If we start utilizing these plants, we can start seeing solutions that basically to bring up more culture, more education, more infrastructure. This will stop all this violence that we're starting to see. I guess from all this, we've always been neighbors. Mexico and the US is pretty much the same thing. And for a while, I guess, there was that bad weed, but nowadays we have very good growers in Mexico. It's very much underground still. You cannot be very public. But the good thing is that in Mexico, laws are just suggestions, so we don't have this very harsh penalties for if they catch you with 60 plants. Unfortunately, if you cannot pay the cops, you cannot get away. We're going, I guess, the underground route, but nowadays you see small associations popping up. A lot of people that are growing for making RSO. Through this, CBD now is legal because I guess through the law structure, you can defend yourself for a constitutional right. It's against your constitutional or your human right to deny you your medicine. And for a little girl that she has 400 epileptic attacks a day, very similar to Charlotte, a judge just allowed her the permit to legally import CBD. So as we were saying, on Monday, medicinal marijuana is legal in Mexico, and this is the doorway to start getting more people on it. Guess what's happening in Chile? The whole movement of grow your own autocultivo is becoming very big, because if you're going to grow your own medicine, grow your own food, grow your own beer, grow your own house, grow your own energy, grow your own everything, liberate yourself from all this that's holding us down. Let's return to nature. So, yeah.
Very cool, very cool.
Well, I guess we get into cannabis because in Mexico we've always been marihuanos. It's been our culture. And half of my family comes from Mexico, but the other half comes from St. Vincent. And they were always, I guess, survivors. People call them slaves, but we call them survivors. And they always used the medicine to heal themselves for everything. So from that, we've always been exposed to cannabis and to some really, really good outdoor cannabis, some plants that reach 5 meters, just beautiful, beautiful plants. They're land races, they're not as big as body, but from that, we learned a lot about the medicine. It's always been in our culture. Our grandmothers use it for arthritis. Unfortunately, in my family, a lot of people have died from cancer, and we never really had this safe access because you always have to literally risk your life to do this. We've lost a lot of friends along the way, but the idea is that this is our freedom, and not only hemp, cannabis, bamboo. Like I say, go back to nature. That's where everything comes from. We come from there. We go back to that. So through that, we try and help people grow. We try and help people with medicine. Whatever you guys need, come to Mexico. It's not as bad as it sounds on the news. Just give us a call and we'll have a great time.
Very cool, very cool.
As long as people are just being locked up for cannabis, then we've got to change those laws, and we've got to restore hemp for energy, folks. That's the real key here. The whole reason marijuana was prohibited was to stop this, to stop hemp fuel being used. Now, this is hemp seed oil with a piece of hemp twine here. This is next week's wick right here. And you can burn this in any diesel engine with no conversion to the engine today. You can pour that right into your diesel engine and turn the key and drive. And that's the reason it was made illegal. It's the petrochemical, pharmaceutical, military, industrial, transnational, corporate, elite, crony, capitalist, ruling class that have brought us hemp and cannabis prohibition.
Cannabis sativa is one of the most ancient plants cultivated by mankind. Hemp processing was already developed in China 8,000 years before Christ was born. Hemp was first harvested for its seeds, a rich source of amino acids used for food. Then it was discovered that by breaking the stalks, they could use the fibers to make paper, as well as fishing nets and up to 5,000 hemp-related products, including, of course, textiles. The ancient Chinese called their country the land of hemp and mulberry. Mulberry leaves were used to feed silkworms, from which was produced the precious silk that only the rich and powerful could afford. Everyone else wore hemp clothing. Hemp is called ma by the Chinese, literally meaning plant with two forms, male and female. Hemp was also the first crop to be grown for use in war. The Chinese had originally used bamboo to make bowstrings. Then they discovered that the hemp fiber was stronger and lasted longer. Imperial decrees ordered that certain areas of the land would be exclusively used to grow hemp. An ancient legend says that hemp paper was discovered by Sai Lun, a scribe and eunuch of the imperial court. To publicize his discovery, Sai Lun pretended to die. He ordered that hemp paper should be burnt around his coffin. Then he arranged his own apparent resurrection and attributed it to the properties of his new invention. Ever since, hemp has been an integral part of the Chinese funeral ceremony known as Wu Fu, or the 5 levels of mourning. This code lays down, among other things, that the family wear different hemp clothes corresponding to their relation with the deceased. The Chinese jealously kept the secret of papermaking for centuries. It wasn't until the 5th century that this knowledge was passed on to other countries, finally appearing in Europe in the 8th century.
The word cannabis comes from the Babylonian canna, meaning cane or stalk, bis meaning twice, with 2 forms or sexes, cannabis. Interestingly, it has the same meaning in Chinese. The word ma is a word from a completely different culture, yet it means exactly the same. Ma means the plant from which we take the fibers and which has 2 sexes. For good hemp, you have to look for rich, strong fibers, and these attributes are most marked in the male plant. The female plant, on the other hand, is a plant used in smoking, because all the psychoactive substances concentrate there. It is a plant with 2 sexes, 2 attributes. This is something completely fundamental.
Cannabis has been used medically since the year 2800 BC, when Emperor Shen Nung founded the science of Chinese medicine. Wounds sustained in battle were bandaged in cannabis leaves. Today, doctors across the whole world are asking for the right to use cannabis as a treatment for pain, especially for cancer and AIDS.
I'm a cannabis user. I've been using cannabis since I was approximately 9 years old. I've had cancer 10 times. It first occurred in my spine when I was 2 years old. I had a spinal fusion which fused my first 5 vertebrae together. I went on to have it from 2 to 10, 9 times in 8 years. It occurred once again when I was 15. We treated it with radiational therapy. Through the years, I've gone through radiational therapy, chemotherapy, and numerous forms of surgery. And I stumbled upon cannabis once after radiational therapy use. It alleviated my dizziness and nausea, just the secondhand smoke, and it also increased my appetite. And right now, I go around the world and I try to teach people about cannabis and its benefits and its usages, because I found it so beneficial in my situation.
Cannabis was also grown in the foothills of the Indian continent, today's Kazakhstan, Pakistan, Nepal and Kashmir. Having gathered the hemp harvest, Indian farmers used the water rotting process to break down the fibers, from which they made hemp flour, porridge or even popcorn. The seeds were also used for food and to make unsaturated oil.
Cannabis is dedicated to Kali, the Hindu goddess, with 2 faces, destruction and reincarnation. So cannabis has been completely integrated in religious life on the Indian continent. Cannabis is consumed in a religious way to show devotion to the goddess, as we do ourselves with wine in the Holy Communion of the Catholic Church.
University is striving to lead the nation in industrial hemp research. The goal of the research focuses on learning about plant growth. News Source 16's Megan Shin spoke with faculty at OSU. She joins us in studio tonight. Megan, what's behind this study?
Stephanie, some staff at Oregon State believe their research can help the hemp industry market, and even more Oregonians as a whole. Hemp is usually associated with marijuana, but researchers say the hemp plant itself can be used for many things. Researchers say hemp plants can be used for clothing, fuels, and many other materials.
So we're looking at a simple question of, can we grow to maturity industrial hemp in Oregon, specifically Western Oregon. The university, and that is our stakeholders, are asking for the basic information on growing industrial hemp.
Oregon State Vice President of Relations Steve Clark says that's why they are working to join a handful of state universities interested in this research.
Oregon State is a leader. I mean, we are rated nationally and internationally among some of the top natural resources universities internationally.
Faculty at the College of Agricultural Sciences submitted the applications needed to the Federal Drug Enforcement Administration. Completing both state and federal paperwork is just one step. They currently have to import hemp seeds from overseas. For the results to be meaningful and useful, they need time and money.
We're feeling very good about that, but we also have to raise close to $2.5 million to fund 3 to 5 years worth of research.
Knoller says they estimate testing around a dozen different types of hemp. They say the research can lead to production of more hemp-based materials.
We should be in at least experimenting with our research to see just how well we could position Oregon in the international market.
Steve Clark says they hope to begin hemp growing trials in time for the 2016 growing season. Also, the program could potentially give students research opportunities. Clark says there is no concern of potential hemp misuse because research will be supervised. Live from the studio, I'm Megan Shin, News Source 16.
You've got that, and you convert that into this. Projects where we're trying to take natural materials, so this happens to be hemp fiber. Industrial hemp fiber, and we're trying to churn these sorts of materials into solid materials that you can build all sorts of things with. The advantage of doing this is you can grow these materials locally, manufacture them locally, and they cost a fraction of the amount as their synthetic counterparts. And in addition, you can mix synthetics in with natural materials and make new composite materials that have the best of both worlds.
So normally people are used to looking at a car door like this. This is what most people see. But on the back side you have this natural fiber, and this has been in use for 20 years. And to have this 90-degree angle here for that strength, not a problem with fiberglass, but with natural fibers you have to have a very strong natural fiber, and hemp is certainly, one of the top ones.
There's lots of appetite for taking raw plant materials and tearing it all apart and making liquid fuels out of it, but that's always going to be a high volume, kind of a low margin product that's destined to be burned. We're talking about making materials that are high value added products for high value added end uses. The earth has finite amount of resources, and using these kinds of materials allows more people to live high standards of living without the same cost to the environment and the same cost of resources to have that quality of life.
But I want to just put this out or think about real quickly is we want people to think about the realities of alternative energy, helping the land, helping the farmer, a green economy, alternative energy, all of the buzzwords that the political system keeps throwing at us but has no substance behind it. We want people to think and consider the identity and the realities of industrial hemp as an alternative energy solution to the problems that plague this planet. Hemp will help the farmer, it will save the farmer, it will create an environment, a fresh air environment that is healthy for this planet. Industrial hemp. We're not talking about marijuana. This is about industrial hemp. This is about helping the farmer and all of the things that hemp can do. And if nothing else, remember, it makes fresh oxygen for a carbon monoxide filling sky, and it does it on an annual basis. It's a renewable energy, and it sustains us. It was the largest cultivated planet. It was the largest cultivated crop on this planet up until the 1880s. Then around the discovery of oil, because hemp could do everything that oil can do and more, and do it safely without pesticides, without attacking and destroying the land. They outlawed marijuana a long time ago, but it was the hemp that they were after because the hemp could sustain an alternative economy. Thank you. So please think about it. Think about it. Think about it and do what makes sense. All right. Give us this day our daily yeses. Yes to life. Yes to living. Yes to caring. Yes to giving. Yes to creating. Yes to thinking. Yes to clarity. Yes to balance. Yes to being. Yes to seeing. Yes to yeses. Give us this day our daily yeses. Chaos, confusions. Confusions, chaos. Desperations, despairs. Despairs, desperations. Program belief. Belief program. Manipulated minds. Minds manipulated. Reactions, behaviors. Behaviors, reactions. Fearful thinking. Thinking fearful. Inside. Outside. Altering thought. Thought altering. Forgetting medicine. Medicine forgetting. Clear thinking. Thinking clear. Coherent. Coherence. Coherency. Coherent. Prayers given. Given prayers. Peace and love. Love and peace. Created realities. Realities created. Whatever sees. Sees whatever. We do. Do we? Give us this day our daily yeses. Yes to yeses. Yes to seeing. Yes to being. Yes to balance. Yes to clarity. Yes to thinking. Yes to creating. Yes to giving. Yes to caring. Yes to living. Yes to life. Give us this day our daily yeses.
industrial use, you know, I don't see there any harm, and there's a lot of good uses for it. You know, people fight it because of the, well, from the blackballing of it through William Randall Hearst and his paper industry. I guess that's where it first started, but I don't mind the industrial use. I mean, it makes rope, fine clothing, fine paper, whatever.
Anything you can make out of hydrocarbon, you can make out of a carbohydrate. There's no reason to be burning fossil fuels when we don't have to.
If you can grow hemp properly, it is a material that contributes to sustainable agriculture because the tonnage of carbon removed from the air in the form of carbon dioxide is high relative to the amount of carbon removed from the air by other plants, like trees.
This is a modified 1983 Mercedes-Benz turbo diesel, and the only thing that we've done differently is put lots of wonderful stickers on the car and put hemp biodiesel fuel in the tank. That's it. No modifications.
Also, Mercedes-Benz right now has a Model 420 M Series, believe it or not, that's got hemp composite plastic dashboards and door paneling. And they're discovering that it biodegrades when it breaks upon impact. It doesn't break sharply, so it's less likely to injure a person.
And we've we've been on the road for 6 weeks now. Got 6,000 miles on the car. That's totally on hemp. And we've got another 6 weeks to go roughly before we end our tour in DC.
There's a lot of problems that have to be solved, and we can solve a number of it. Its fiber strength is up on the order of 5,000 psi. So you get a fiber strength that's equivalent to some of the toughest, strongest woods. When you process hemp fiber using a hydrogen peroxide process, you can control the pollution more effectively than using chlorine processing, which is used for paper. The hemp that comes out of this process can be made into oriented strand board. Oriented strand board is the largest growing sector of the materials industry for construction. Oriented strand board can be made with hemp fiber having a modulus of 6,000 psi, about twice the strength of ordinary particle board. This makes hemp fiber bonded with its own natural binders, a suitable material for underlayment, sheathing, and roofing substrate in houses and housing construction.
This is a circa 1920 bottle from Eli Lilly, Cannabis. And then right next to it, we have an 1890 bottle. This is actually still full. And this is Lipoise Balsam for coughs. It's a cough medicine. This box is in like 5 different languages, and it comes with this insert that's in 9 more. So this was a very useful medicine. Here's another one from 1910, Specific Standard Medicines out of Illinois, the Lloyd brothers. They sold many of these medicines. This is also a partially full bottle. And this is an unopened box. It still has the full bottle still inside. Right next to it, this bottle was dug up. This is a embossed bottle that says, as you can see, Dr. D.H. James's Cannabis Indica. So this was another medicine. This is a combination medicine. It's cannabis with, what else has it got? Lecithin and lime and iron. It has a little bit of strychnine in it too. I don't know why they put that in there, but it's for nervous prostration, nervous exhaustion, nervous disability, nervous excitement, hysteria, and all depressed conditions of the nervous system. You can read that right on there. So it was a widely used medicine. But most importantly, we're still burning our hemp flame of freedom. This is hemp seed oil burning a wick of hemp fiber. And this is why marijuana was made illegal, folks, right here. It's all about money and power and energy. They created the whole marijuana myth to protect the petrochemical, pharmaceutical, military, industrial, transnational
crony, corporate, elite, ruling class and their
Sons of
wealth.
bitches.
Yeah, those guys too.
There you go.
And so here it is. The hemp flame of freedom continues to burn brightly here on Cannabis Common Sense.
In a way, my attitude is, you know, we can complain and blame the bad guys, and we can cry around a lot about how they're not fair and things like that, you know, but that's who they are.
Always been that way.
All right, and that's just plain simple reality.
It is what it is.
And I just think when I look at hemp, I'm specifically towards hemp, is like they were mentioning earlier about the California Proposition 19. You know, if that passes, see, then that's also inclusive of hemp.
Yeah, it is.
And, you know, so there's kind of a major thing kind of happening around that part of it. But anyways, I was going to say about the hemp thing, the only thing I would add is, you know, is like the people that really are seriously environmentally oriented, I think that there should be serious consideration of hemp. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, it's just at least check it out.
Yeah, I think that's the whole reason it's illegal.
And then, no, the reason hemp is illegal is because, you know, marijuana was made illegal in the first place to shut down hemp.
Exactly.
That's why it was made illegal. They went after hemp through marijuana.
That's correct.
Well, now marijuana's starting to come back in, so now bring hemp back in. The same way they went after it, let's bring it back in that way. But the marijuana prohibition had everything to, it didn't have anything to do with getting high on pot. It had everything to do with hemp. Cutting down the forest and the petrochemical now going to the oil stuff, all of this had fallen into place. You know, so, yeah, but anyway, so I think people that are seriously considering about being environmentalist, and I'm not challenging anything they're doing, I'm just saying, hey, if you're for real about the environment, this is earth medicine. It's renewable, it's earth medicine, you know, and it just plain and simply is. To the medical marijuana people, let's say, all right, well, we're getting the medicine for ourselves, now let's come back and get it for the earth, because, you know, she's the one that's giving us our medicine in the first place. But see, I'm saying out of all of this, and out of the hemp marijuana people, we should be the ones that show our dedicated loyalty to the earth. All right, and hemp is, yeah, I mean, it's well, anyway, you know, it's it's productive and it doesn't harm the earth. You don't need the pesticides, you don't need the chemicals, realities.
Yeah, it helps regenerate the soil. Flatlands, they just went on and on. Before I ever got to the other side, I started missing home. Started missing home. Them people, they weren't as friendly. They'd all been traumatized by the rush of this here civilization. They all were trapped inside. So they went and they made a war so they could drive around a big old car. And they drive it all up in circles, but they never get that far. And they prey upon each other like it's some good healthy sport. And their idea of a wilderness is a condo at the resort. only make rules that benefit the ones that lock you up. And there's not much more to say, except this whole place is damn corrupt. So I'm going back to my mountain, and there I'll spend my days. And I'll make love to my mountain girl, and I'll smoke my OG haze, and I'll live my old school ways.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. If you are interested in finding a medical marijuana permit, just look for us at that phone number, 800-723-0188, or contact us on the web at hemp.org. We're going to have tape shows for the next 3 weeks, but we'll be back here live on December 12th. I'm going to be down speaking at 3 events in South America, Expo Haze in Argentina, Expo Weed in Chile, and Expo Cannabis in Uruguay. But I'll be back here for the show on December 12th. Tune in next week. Here's Mr. John Cornett, and help us restore hemp. Good night.